to the Remington Podcast, where we take a deep dive into all things ammunition. I'm your host, Audrey Mayes, and today I'm joined by a bunch of shotshell hunters. We're going to talk to you about our 2024 shotshell recap. We have Research and Development Engineer Logan Henry.
Good to be back on.
Shotshell Product Manager Ronnie Evans.
Hi-oh.
And Research and Development Engineer Colt Lloyd.
Thanks for having me.
So glad to be back, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, definitely.
Yeah. So first and foremost, we are in Arkansas. I'd like to dive into waterfowl hunting first. I went on a waterfowl hunt this year, and it was unseasonably warm. I don't know if it was like that for you guys as well.
It's been like that since terrible.
Yeah. I mean, we killed some ducks, but, we didn't see very many ducks.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'd like to blame the numbers on that.
Oh, I agree. I mean, it's stayed warm up north. I mean, we just this last week or so started seeing snow and cold temperatures and things. But I was just talking to some folks from Minnesota just a minute ago, and that's not even snow on the ground up there. Right?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So a duck only flies as far as he needs to. Mm-hmm. We automatically think migration. Well, they migrate because their food source is covered. Yep. So until it gets the freezing temperature and snow on the ground to cover the food source, they don't come. They go as far as they have to go. So, but one of the things that is helping, some of them did move down the flyway a little ways, but there's a lot of stuff happening north of us.
Yeah.
I've had some reports that people are starting to see a few new birds. Mm-hmm. So that's a good deal. But, we don't go to the end of the month. So it's going to be a pretty quick turnaround. But you're absolutely right. Your success was completely due to the fact of the weather patterns isn't right yet.
Mm-hmm. We got a lot of teal, though. We went up here near Searcy, Arkansas, and, we smacked a lot of teal, and we bagged one mallard.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say it was me.
You bagged it. That girl. So, and the other thing about Arkansas, we've had a lot of rain. So we have water.
Yeah.
Right. In the past we've not had water too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So but water's not the issue, it's just the cold up top. So but you're right. There's nothing wrong with a good teal shoot. I'm telling you right now.
That's been a big primary part of my season this year.
Yeah, it's fun.
We've killed some mallards, but teal is definitely, we've hit quite a few days with limits, but we've shooting a lot of teal out of that.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're fast moving. They're fun to shoot at.
Yeah. Oh, they're fun to
shoot at.
Just the connection part, right?
Yeah, exactly. I took nitrosteel duplex out there, and it handled them well.
It does a good job.
So a lot, and those teal are fast, and a lot of times they're far away from the blind we were in. So folded them like a chair.
There you go. Was you using 2x4s?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think if you just know you was straightly going after teal, that 2x6 would be even better.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot more shot. It's more denser pattern. I mean, it's a lot more denser. I seen redneck.
More dense.
A lot more dense pattern, which was because of the sheer size of the bird, right? Mm-hmm. So that 2x6 would be cool for that.
Yeah. I think next time, if I know that it's just going to be teal, that's what I'm taking for sure.
But I would feel pretty confident to shoot a mallard with that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I did.
I've shot,
Well, you shot 2x4. I mean, move the 2x6.
Oh, I gotcha.
Right,
okay.
Right. So, but
just depends on your distance. I mean,
you're right. How far would you say that Drake was? Did you shot
20 yards?
Oh yeah, 2x6.
Yeah, he was coming in. I said to the left, pop, and got him.
So that was your really good first time hunting in the timber too, wasn't it?
We weren't in the timber.
Oh, you wasn't? Mm-mm. Okay, I thought maybe you was in the timber.
No, we were. Yeah, we were in a little pond area.
Okay. But you had trees all behind you and stuff.
We did.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay,
we were
so
right adjacent to the woods.
Okay,
yeah.
all right, so you had a big hole. Is what you was hunting. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it was a good time. We saw ducks, saw a lot of teal, like I said. So, Cole, you did some public land this year, didn't you?
I've gone twice, and one time was more successful than the other. We walked in one day at Bayamita and probably saw 15 birds, and they weren't even remotely close to shootable. And then we hunted the other day here at a WMA, and I think we got 3 birds, just not a ton. There are more birds showing up. I hunted yesterday, and it's the most new birds I've seen all year. Now, granted, we still had so much water that they really weren't.
Well, because there is so much water, they've got a lot of places to go.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but as stuff starts to lock up a little bit more,
that'll help. Yeah, you start watching those spots that's open, it should get a lot better. So we're going to get temperatures. It'll be, find those spots, you'll be able to smack them.
Yeah, I've had a few reports from my dad back home on our land, and, we've got a few canvas backs. A few ducks we haven't seen all year. We've had a few mallards, but we're actually piling up with quite a few mallards. So,
and yet you're here.
It's finally getting
what are you
there.
doing?
I know. What are you doing?
I
guess we've got to work though. So,
I mean,
got to pay the bills.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you when you go public land hunting? What'd you take?
took some just Sportsman Steel 2s because a lot of the duplex I had was BB by 4, so I couldn't take it on public. So
biggest shot you can use is 2s.
Yep.
I actually didn't know that rule. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Had to,
2s make
was
sense.
definitely checking the regs like right before and was like, oops, let's grab this.
Yeah.
So, but I've mainly been using a combination of just Sportsman Steel and duplex. I kind of one of those I've got an ammo can that's just full, and whatever I reach in and grab is what
That's what's
I'm
going to work
shooting
for
the
you.
day, so.
Yeah. Ronnie, you went down to Texas this year.
I did. I got to go outside of Seadrift, Texas, and hunt saltwater. Never done that before. And watched. We think we're hard on equipment here. Whenever you see, I got tickled. Our guide, one of the guides with us, he had a Super Black Eagle that was almost deteriorated.
Oh, shoot.
Because of rust, but he keeps hammering away. But anyway, so that was pretty awesome. Never done it. Killed redheads. I've killed one redhead hen here some time ago. We killed several redheads. Killed a canvasback hen. I've never killed a canvasback until then. And well, actually, I didn't kill that one. I killed some redheads. There was a guy with me killed that one. But we killed some shovelers and a mixed bag of stuff. But it was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. Seen birds, but not a lot. They're the same thing we are, right? So they have the same issues. They're more in the Central Flyway. We're in the Mississippi Flyway. But that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. Enjoyed that.
Yeah, I got a little taste of what I was doing growing up.
Yeah, I could do that a lot. I mean, whenever you're in a flat, and what was cool, duck hunt was cool, but riding them airboats was where it was at.
Yeah.
I mean, we rode airboats. One of them had one of those LSA all aluminum Corvette engines on it.
Wow.
And the other one had a 572 big block Chevrolet on it. So
Very
it
nice.
was,
Very nice.
wear earphones and stuff to
they're
earmuffs
loud.
when you're driving. So
They're not stealthy.
not at all.
No.
But those flats everywhere we hunted was no more than you barely got knee deep in places for ways, a long ways. I mean, most of that stuff's real shallow like that. You can't run a boat with a prop in those areas we was hunting. So, but yeah, it was pretty cool. If I lived down that area, I could see me doing that kind of hunting a lot. It was pretty neat.
And you took some secret sauce with you.
Yeah, I had some new stuff and some sub gauge that worked really well. I was really impressed. I've watched one of the riders shoot what was that? Anyways, it might have been redhead, about 80 yards.
Wow.
I was really impressed with 3-shot. So was really impressed. I texted you and I said, hey, that looks good. I shot some of it and was impressed.
You didn't say it was 80 yards. Dang.
Well, now you know. But no, it shot really well. Of course, we took the duplex and I think we took BB by 4s on it too. And I could shoot almost as far as I wanted to with that stuff. It was cool. But I shot 20 gauge the first day, and the second 2 day, the second and third days I shot 12s. But the 20 gauge, I was really impressed with it. It did really well.
Yeah, people are moving to those like sub gauges for duck hunting.
It's getting more and more popular all the time.
I went out. My duck hunt was with Echo Calls.
Yep.
Great guys here in
they're
Arkansas,
awesome
local
people. They're
calling
awesome
company, and pros. Oh my gosh.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's where we put that.
crazy. But one of them came into the room before we went duck hunting and goes, "Y'all shoot." I was with a group of women. That's important to know.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
They came into our group of women and said, "Y'all shooting 20 gauges?" We were offended. We're like, excuse me, we all shoot 12 gauges. Like, because that's a real stigma. It's like, oh, it's a female,
No,
give her a 20 gauge. And he's like, oh, we're all shooting 20
They all
gauges.
shoot 20.
It was
They all
like-
shoot
I was
20s. I
like,
think
oh.
they've got one guy there that shoots 12.
One
Yeah.
guy, everybody else shooting 20s. Yep.
And we went with a guy shooting a 28.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty crazy. And he was smacking ducks too with that little.
Well,
28,
that's one thing we've as in product management. Any new products we design or come forward with, we have to take in consideration the sub gauge. It ain't by 12 anymore.
Right.
Right. You got to have those. You have to have those rounds in the sub gauge because it is. It's not going anywhere if anything's getting bigger.
I think it's getting bigger.
And after shooting that, because I've always shot 12, and shooting that 20 gauge that day down there, let it rip, tater, chip. I don't have a problem shooting 20 gauge. Not at all, especially with those loads.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
if they can reach out there.
Yeah, I think
And-
the truth is if you're there, you're
You're
probably there. You know.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So, but yeah, I enjoyed shooting a 20 gauge. So a lot less recoil, smaller, slimmer gun. I can see all the positives why somebody go to that.
Yeah, 100%. Me
No
too.
doubt.
Especially if I got to shoot my Remington 870 pump action for the first time this duck season.
Oh, good.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was like, this is why people buy these guns. 100%.
Yeah.
But if you're interested in the secret sauce that Ronnie is talking about, we will be releasing it on the podcast here in a couple weeks.
In a couple weeks. Can't wait.
Yeah, super excited about that. What did you take duck hunting with you?
I did duplex all year.
Did you?
I mean, I shot a little bit of wingmaster every now and then, but after like first 2 hunts, I was honestly like, the ponds we hunt are at the river. There's nothing that's really far enough. I mean, 50 yards for us is a pretty long shot, honestly.
That duplex is enough.
I don't think you need the wingmaster for my application,
Right.
But 2x6, I've shot a lot of that, a little bit of BB by 4. But mainly 2x6, 2x4 as well. So
2x6 is really rounded. Really well-rounded load.
Yeah, well, we're shooting a lot of teal. So, I think that's a good load for it.
When we was developing that round and when we talked about it off and on, I'll be honest with you, I was skeptical of the 6-shot period. I was. And we decided, well, let's just go shoot some in jail. You remember that? So we put some ballistic gel down there and went and shot it. And we was at 30, was it 30 or 35 yards we shot that?
I've slept since then.
It was some distance, right? It wasn't like we was 20 yards from it.
Yeah.
It was more like 30, 35 yards. And at 1,450 feet per second, we was pushing that 6-shot 3, almost 4 inches into that gel. Well, through a teal, that's a pass-through.
Right. Yep.
To a bigger duck, they're getting smoked, right? So I was really like, wow, impressed with that. So, so anything I was any concern I had going into that was gone immediately when I saw the performance, what it did in ballistic gel.
Yeah, that was really cool. I mean, just the obvious separation in shot size.
Oh, you could see it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, it was like a line, and here was this batch, this shot size, and then here's this shot size. There was no doubt.
Yeah, it's just the groupings you get with that is crazy.
Oh, patterns was great. Yeah.
Yeah. But waterfowl isn't the only thing we hunted this year. And I'm pretty sure no one at this table hunted upland. You said you hunted dove.
I did some
dove.
But Logan hunted some upland this year. So how was your experience with that?
So every year I try to go once or twice up to Kansas, spend hopefully about a week at a time. This year we were fortunate. They had a really good spring rain, really good hatch this year. We had lots of birds, probably more birds than, I've been going probably 7 or 8 years now up to Kansas and hunting. And tons of birds this year. There was fields where we would see hundreds of roosters,
That's awesome.
So I think we had limits pretty much every single day we went,
Nice.
Did a little bit of quail hunting with that. We typically go primarily in pheasant hunt, and then we just touch it with a little bit of quail as we run into coveys. So we killed some of those. There was a good population of those as well, but it was a really good hunt, Done some quail hunting recently here in the past month too. So had a good time with that. Killed lots of birds. So
do you change your payload and shot size if you're hunting quail?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna try to. If I'm hunting quail, I'd like to shoot some 8-shot probably.
Yep.
Okay.
Shoot some. I don't mind shooting 11-45 8s or 1200s maybe. Especially if sometimes we'll even shoot some pin raised birds, and those you've got to, even with 8s, you've got to make sure that you let them fly a little ways because there'll be a little bit of a puff if you don't.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, got to get a little room.
Can't get too excited, And with the quail, your dog's going to point them very well, so they're there. So let them fly. But no, pheasant hunting was really good this year.
Good.
Good bird population. So I was thrilled.
Well, that's nice. What do you usually take?
I'm going to shoot 5s probably. I like to be in the 1,500 foot per second. I'm going to shoot like the nitro pheasant. That's typically what I'm going to take out there. I like to shoot 5s. Early season birds, you might get away with probably shooting 6s or something. Later in season, they're going to get up quite a bit farther in front of you. Everybody may think that those birds are stupid, but they are very smart birds. You hunt them in one place a couple of times, and I kid you not, whenever you start opening the truck doors and closing them, you'll see birds running out the end of the field.
Shoot.
So that's the importance of blockers as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. I'm still have yet to go upland hunting, and it's going to happen in 2025.
I'm going to tell you something. Do a lot of walking. Right?
Oh yeah.
But I've been to South Dakota a couple of times. I've been to Iowa years ago, and enjoyed every step.
Yeah.
You walk between 7 and 8 miles a day, 9 miles a day.
We did 15 at times.
Oh yeah. And then there's days we get it done quicker than next. We got our limit already, right?
Yeah.
But it's enjoyed every minute of it. It is so much fun.
That is awesome. And it's beautiful. I've seen like the
All
scenery.
the rolling hills.
it is.
Yeah.
It's just, I see why people get addicted to that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
to me, that's
okay.
like duck hunting. You know, I think duck hunting's my latest addiction. You know, as I
Yeah,
said, I've
yeah.
been
Yeah.
pheasant and quail hunting for 7-8 years now. So I've been addicted to that one, but duck hunting's
Duck
kind of my
hunting's-
new one.
I got you. Yeah, I when it comes to the birds like that, the quail is probably my favorite. You know,
I enjoy that.
We used to have a bunch of them here in Arkansas, and habitats changed, and I've started seeing. I'm in a deer lease down in South Arkansas, and we started to see some come back there. So that's always good to see that, right? But I'll say this: that's the best game the good Lord made for table fare. Is the quail.
Oh, yeah.
It's my
That's a
favorite
delicacy.
thing. That's my
Yeah.
favorite thing of all
Absolutely.
of it. So
Yeah, I have a deep affection for quail because Bob White's down in South Texas. That's all you hear in the morning.
that's what we had here.
I
Was
love
Bob
it.
White's. I love hearing.
Yeah.
It. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it brings me back to my childhood because when I remember where I could go outside early in the morning and hear them all the time, or late in the evening. You'd hear them calling. So it's awesome. I like the Bob White
Yeah,
quail.
I'm
That's
thinking
cool.
about just raising a cubby so I can hear that noise.
Nothing wrong with that.
My
Yeah.
dad actually does that.
Really?
So yeah, you can hear it when you go to our farm. You hear them. So that's kind of how he trains his dogs as he raises birds.
yeah.
Smart.
But that's an interesting. Yeah. As to what you said though, around our lease and stuff in our land, we've actually heard some birds calling, or I've
That's
been driving down
positive.
the road and seen some, and I'm like,
Yeah, man.
that's interesting because
Yeah.
growing up, we've never had
good.
any. So
We saw some last turkey season walking around. I mean, had a couple cubbies flush around us, and it was surprising to us. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially
Glad
when
to see
we were
that.
not prepared for
Yeah.
it.
No, no.
Oh, they
About dropping a
surprised
turkey
you.
gun. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure, Ronnie, you could talk about it. I mean, my father talks about, going hunting, and he said it would be nothing if you'd show up kind of before daylight, hear them calling, find 5 or 6 coveys just like
Real
that.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember. I used to hunt. That's what my dad and his brother, my dad and uncle, loved quail hunting, and some of my earliest hunting was quail hunting, and we would do that, and it was cool. There was nothing to see 2 or 3, like you said, 2 or 3 coveys. Go chase out your flyers, and you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm hoping we have a Quail Forever chapter here in Arkansas.
We do.
Yeah,
Yep,
I
we
hope,
sure do.
I hope they, do good things this year because I
think
really
so.
would like to see some quail in Arkansas.
Yeah, well, the Game and Fish has also started doing some stuff with some. I believe they've got a quail stamp now, and those things like that to help with that. So they've put a emphasis on that. They realize that that's a species that has really taken a downturn. So they're doing work around that too in our state. So it's good to see that.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that kind of stuff. Ronnie, dove hunting. What did you do this
So
year?
we used to have real good dove hunts here, and I've got a reason why I don't think it's like I think our season as far as when the bird season actually comes in is in relative to when the harvest of soybeans and rice and all and corn takes place now. The birds kind of move through because I can remember years ago being on opening morning hunts with a bunch of us killing 300 birds. We don't do that anymore because that time I believe, and we have mourning doves here, that fly through the state. So, but yes, I got to go to Texas, South Texas, went around Uvalde and killed my first white-winged dove this year, which is pretty cool. They're a bigger bird than what we're used to seeing here with the mourning doves. So killed on the second day, probably 8 or 9 of them of my 15. And then the day before that, killed all mourning doves, killed 15 that day. It was awesome. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, Texas, again, was where I grew up.
Oh, yeah.
We grew up dove hunting.
Yep.
So.
I shot 20 gauge the first day. I shot some heavy doves, 7.5s. And then the second day, I shot some game loads. They was 12.91 ounce, 7.5s out of my 12 gauge. But that's what I shot those 2 days. And
They both performed well. You liked both of them?
Roll
Yeah.
with both. I think they're good. I really like the 12.91 ounce anyway. That's why I like shooting sporting clays with too.
Okay, yeah.
in the natural sporting clay line. But yeah, they shot well. Yeah, if I missed, it wasn't because it was never the arrow. It was always the Indian.
Yeah.
Right?
But you didn't miss very much, though.
Not a
right,
lot. I
Ronnie?
did actually. I shot really well. I was actually surprised myself on some of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool.
Shoot, it might be because your ammunition lined up with what you practice with sports.
Yeah, I
clays.
mean it was very very similar, right? So
Yeah, that's awesome. I love to hear a good dove hunting story.
Oh, yeah.
I don't hear a lot of them anymore. I think it's because I live in Arkansas now. And it's not really a
you
thing.
don't see it here like that. Yeah, I remember just seeing. There was a couple of times I've seen a bunch of birds fly over had between 75 and 100 in it. And instead of just singles. Now we would see singles, but they was usually 2s, 3s, 10s. I mean, it was A lot of birds, a lot of birds. And that's what this group did. And they took care of it, and they had good crops and stuff for them to hang there. And they were successful, knew what they was doing.
Yeah, it's all about the pre.
Yeah, oh yeah,
stuff.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
They was prepped, and they did a
You need the
job.
crop, and then you need the water close by.
all
If you can
right.
find that magic spot.
And if you got places for them to roost too, you
Yep.
know, it's a good tree line. You've got all the makings, right? So
Yeah, 100%. So I do know everyone at this table at least tried to kill a turkey this year. Everyone at least tried. I went turkey hunting this year for the first time in Arkansas. Heard a lot of birds. Saw 0 birds. Mostly because you can't really see birds through your eyelids, can you?
Oh,
no, you gotta have them open.
So wasn't really disciplined in that aspect. As soon as I sat at the base of the tree, I was pretty much mouth open asleep. So not the best turkey hunter. I did take TSS though, because if I was going to see one, I was going to smack one. Like that's all.
Oh yeah.
That's
I wasn't risking
Hey,
it.
That's
but
the
you get
pinnacle.
a gobbler close by, and you won't be asleep.
No.
That is an
They're
excitement
loud.
like nothing
Yeah,
else.
they're loud.
It
and
really is.
So it's not like they're sneaking around me, you know.
No.
But I know Colt tried to.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, I didn't fall asleep, and we did hear some gobblers, but we went probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 days after season opened, and cold front had just kind of came through, and they weren't talking a ton. We had some that were pretty close, and then we had some storms hit, and then nothing. Mm-hmm. We just sat there and enjoyed nature. But I just took lead because I was cheap. 'Cause,
Okay.
you know, that's me.
Well, our lead stuff works good too.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
shoot.
Well,
We'll get the job
where
done.
we were hunting, I mean, if you could see them, they were definitely in range of lead.
'Cause they were gonna be close to you,
It was
yeah.
so thick.
Yep.
So, but hoping next year that we learn some. That was my first time turkey hunting, probably, I don't know, 10 years. So, and first time kind of doing it on our own. So we'll try again next year. We learned some things on just what we did wrong, and so we'll see. So,
Yeah. Ronnie, you actually killed a turkey.
I did. So, you know, you talking about your new obsession is waterfowl, and mine's turkeys. So, I've never done much turkey hunting at all, and got to go on a hunt back in the spring in Missouri. And I killed my first gobbler there. What was pretty cool with that, sit there that morning and called. Well, matter of fact, that's not correct. I sit there for a few minutes, and some crows fired up behind me.
Oh, that's
and
annoying.
when the crows fired up, well, then the shot gobble started.
Oh, yeah.
Heard multiple turkeys, so that was pretty cool. So sitting down in the bottom of a what we call them fields in Arkansas. Some people call them meadows, but I'm gonna call it a field. And it was pretty long, kind of a narrow stretch where I was at was real long and big. And I'm sitting there in my blind, and I look. And, of course, I've heard these birds multiple times. And I look down their ways, and I'm like, well, there's turkeys there. So I get my binoculars out, and 300 to 350 yards away was several turkeys. 3 of them was gobblers, and they was all strutting around some hens. So called at them, and as soon as I did, this one, he hit hard right then. He heard me, and so he started the zigzag for 300 yards all the way to me, come all the way to me. And he got to where he saw my decoys, and he kept coming up, and he got within about 40 yards. You can tell he's getting a little, hey, something, look, something a little funny here, whatever. So I shot him and killed my first turkey. So that was pretty cool. For as much as fun as that was, the ones I didn't get, it made my obsession worse. What was pretty cool is that same day, they dropped us off at 6, and we're going to go pick me back up to 1. Well, I had this bird killed by 6:45. So I had a lot of time. So one of the things I went ahead, because law states you can't kill but one a day, right? So I picked my bird up, and I've got my decoys up, and I'm sitting there, and I hear more turkeys behind me up on the hill behind me gobbling. So I'm practicing calling. I'm trying to learn the game. And I'd call, he'd answer back, he'd gobble. I'd wait a while. Well, finally, we just kind of played the game. Well, he was sounding like his last time. He was going over the hill away from me. No more about it. I said, he ain't going to gobble no more. We're done. He shut up. About 30 to 45 minutes later, he's in the field 35 yards away from me.
Oh, shoot.
And he was bigger than the bird I killed.
Oh, man.
He was beautiful. So I learned a little something that day, right? They don't always come in like that one did.
Right.
So, well, then that stirred me pretty good. So on the lease I was talking about earlier down in South Arkansas, we have birds down there. And So I go down there, and me and a buddy of mine who's really experienced in turkey hunting, killed a bunch of them. I took him with me. We did some scouting, didn't find nothing. The night before, we was able to find some, and we watched them roost. So we know right where they was at. So we went as far as getting our plan together of what we was going to do the next morning. So we left, come back, and it rained like a by gosh that night. It just just a thunderstorm, and so I did learn that they not so much like a duck. If thunderstorms come through an area where ducks is roosting, it'll blow them out, right? We've seen that over the years. I've seen that. Turkeys, not so much. I mean, this is where they live. That's what they don't migrate.
Right.
So,
so they don't move very
again,
much,
and there's going to be some turkey hunters watching and say, well, yeah, you dummy. Well, I didn't know that. So I'm smarter than what I was. I've learned a lot. So I'm coachable.
There you go.
So anyway, I'm watching all that. So I was a little concerned with that. We go down the next morning. We was set up right where we know we wanted them. And my buddy said, where do you think we ought to sit? It was going in a trail into a food plot. Mm-hmm. And I was worried about sitting at the end of the trail. If he comes out, he's walking toward our decoy, he's going to look right at us. Mm-hmm. I said, well, let's sit over to the side here a little bit. So that's what we did. Well, we sit there, and sure enough, we listened to them come out of the trees. And as soon as they come out of the trees, went to calling, they went to gobbling, and it wasn't a little bit. We had one within 20 yards of us and could not see him. And he gobbled the last time, and we felt it. I felt the gobble.
Yeah, you do. You do.
That's a real thing.
Chest.
Yeah. I felt it.
So
I'm looking through this thicket where I know where I heard the gobble, and I'm looking. I can't see anything. Nothing white, nothing there. And he finally shuts up and leaves. But the moral of the story is you still have to be prepared to understand you've got to have a line of sight. And we did not have that.
Yeah.
If we would have been 10 yards to the right, 15 to the left, we'd probably kill that turkey. Mm-hmm. But that made it worse.
That it was right there.
I'm already thinking about next year. Already got from deer season, got pictures of turkeys and already planning hunts and in some different places. So I'm fired up. I can't wait.
Yeah. Logan, did you try this year? I know you did.
I didn't try very much this year, no. I do have some on the line this year. I've already kind of been watching where they're going, what their patterns are, though, and I've determined that I'm going to go after them this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got game cameras still up. Yeah. Just for that reason.
I'm getting an Eastern this year. That's my goal.
I hope you do.
Yeah.
That's what that was in Missouri.
What's up in Missouri. They're huge up there.
They're big. And these turkeys here, the one we saw the night before, watched before he roost, he was a big, this is extra. I know this is a lot. To me, looked as big as an emu. That was a big gobbler. He was large.
Yeah. I mean, the ones I've been where you were, the ones in the lodge there.
Oh, they're massive, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're
I was
big.
like, that's a turkey? Yeah. So I'm like going up to Missouri and seeing the turkeys they got up there. I'm like, now I get it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I would want that turkey. Yeah.
Yeah, I got tickled. I got that back, and I had my turkey breast there, and I cooked it. And my daughter and son was like, when you going to kill some more of them?
Yeah.
I said, next year.
Yeah.
But it was really good.
Yeah.
Really, I was really, of course, I like turkey anyway. Mm-hmm. But I was really impressed with the wild turkey, how it tasted. I liked it a lot.
What did you take with you?
I had TSS.
Okay. Yeah.
I had TSS. I had 9s and 12 gauge. Mm-hmm. So I had plenty at 40 yards. I was still plenty.
Plenty of firepower.
Yes. Yeah. It's like we've always said, you're going to run out of pattern before you run out of energy with TSS, right? So I like the 9s a whole lot. This year, I'm actually telling you how bad I've got it. I'm setting up a 20 gauge this year.
For turkey.
So I'm going to set a 20 gauge up for turkey and all that. And that's what I'm going to hunt with this year.
Yeah. I think that's a good plan.
Yep.
I know that we all have aspirations for next year, and I want to share them, go around and share them, but I'll start. I'm getting an Eastern this year.
I hope you do.
That's all I'm going to try, I guess. I'm going to try for an Eastern this year. And then I'm always chasing whitetail every year. But this is, you can chew one with a slug. But, and then ducks, I always sprinkle some ducks in there. But I really, really, really want to go upland hunting.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think upland and turkeys is going to be my focus this year.
Yep. That's a good one.
What about you?
Well, I guess duck hunting wise, I want a pintail. I want a pintail really bad.
We killed some pintails in Texas too. I'm glad you said that.
Did you really?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Sure did. A bunch.
I guess I've got another duck hunting one. I've killed some woodies before, but I finally kind of got on a hunch of I want to get one. I want to get one mounted. So I want to kill a woody. I'd like to get it done before this year's up.
Yeah.
Before this
season.
Still
got a few weeks.
Time.
Yeah, we still got a few weeks.
Upland hunting, I'd like to kill a trophy bird. I've kind of been wanting to put some birds in my office. So, you know, and the thing is too, and you'll learn as you hunt a lot, you know, the older birds definitely, they're smarter birds. They just are.
Yeah.
So they're going to get up a lot faster. So you kill a lot of young birds. So I'd like to get a trophy pheasant and get him mounted too.
Yeah, I've got one at the house. He's got a tail about that long. It's awesome.
That's funny. You know, I've actually got a short story. I'll keep it short on that one. We were out by the feedlots in Kansas.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, there was a berm that was probably, I swear it was 2 foot tall. And we saw 4 roosters probably whenever we stopped the truck there. So we were like, let's not get out the dogs. Let's walk up and see if they'll sit right there and we can flush them up. And there is this one rooster when we pulled up the truck that I kid you not, that berm is 2 foot tall. And I bet his tail feathers were that much taller than that berm.
Golly.
And of course, I mean, he popped right up. I mean, probably 10 yards in front of me. I miss him. I've got a video of it on camera. And then 2 more get up as soon as I shoot. And I mean, I just blast the 2. And I'm like, really?
The big one got away.
The big bird. So I've been saying that
I
want him. I want him.
Yeah.
There's a good chance he'll be back there.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as duck hunting goes, I'm with you. I want a woody. I said that this year in the blind too. I was like, that's all I want. And
I got
they're
my
not
first the other
uncommon.
day.
They're not. You know.
But they're, well,
You
You got to hunt the right spot.
Yeah, it's got to be the right spot.
you need to be in woods and things. And 2 things about the woody. First and foremost, one of the most colorful, pretty, the drake is just as
They're
beautiful bird as they
Absolutely.
get. And they're really good table fare too. You know, it's the big guy talking about table fare. But no, to me, that's the best tasting of all waterfowl.
Really?
Ducks. Now, when we got into specs.
Okay.
That's a different deal, right?
Yeah.
And right. So
Yeah. Or sandhill crane. I hear is
sandhill
pretty good.
cranes, that's the ribeye, right? The ribeye of the sky. So
But yeah, Cole, you said you got your first woody
I
this
got
year.
my first woody
Good.
last week. But yeah, next year I'm hoping to do a lot more duck hunting. Mainly just trying to get this was my first season with my dog. It was not a great season. There weren't a whole lot of birds. Just trying to get him on birds. We're doing a pin raised quail hunt here in probably a month.
Oh, that's fun.
So we'll see how he does with that.
Yeah.
And then if he does okay with that, we may try to go up to do a little bit of upland hunting and see how he does.
So mostly dog goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to develop the dog. I'll go whitetail hunting. If my wife kills another deer that's bigger than mine, then I'm just not gonna try anymore.
Yeah,
but,
she killed the trophy this year. Now,
You have to
no
work
doubt,
hard
that
to
was a
beat
good
that big
deer.
bird.
I'm gonna have to work
That was
real
a good
hard.
one.
as a hammer.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna try to get a turkey. So
Shotshell goals, y'all.
That's right.
We'll follow up next year.
That's it.
And see if we made them.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm on turkey hunting, hard and heavy. Still got time to do a little duck hunting. Hopefully for an upland hunt. May even squeeze in a goose hunt before it's over.
Like field goose specifically, or what?
Speckled belly.
Okay.
And then I've want to do sandhill so bad. I just don't know if that'll happen or not. But that's one of those things.
Yeah. I've never tasted one, and I hear that they're the best. I mean, ribeye of the sky,
Yeah,
obviously.
I've never had it, but I want to do it. Something terrible. So
is that Texas, Oklahoma, where you kind of got to go?
yes, yeah, Texas, Oklahoma. There may be a few come through Kansas. I
think
too.
there is.
So,
Those guys have talked about how good they are, so I'm guessing there
but
is.
Texas, Oklahoma's that's the place. Yeah.
Yeah. Big in Texas. So, yeah.
Yep.
It's exciting, y'all.
Yep.
Well, we'll get you back on here. We'll start talking about the new stuff coming down end of January. So, there you have it, guys. Remington is on the rise. Like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to share this podcast with your hunting or shooting buddies. If you have any questions for me or any of the gentlemen here, you can email us at podcast@remington.com. Thanks for listening.